more. So we see the clock times above the players. Yeah. Those will be corrected in a moment. And it's just fast, it's just furious, it's all about the speed. And as we saw in that Duda versus Prague game, it's all about the mouse skills. And we'll see the moves come flying on the board. The Spanish opening, which we saw earlier today between these two. Magnus allows the open Spanish. If black captures in the center, he does, but Magnus chooses a different variation than the first rapid game of the day. And this is mainline theory. This is very well-known stuff. White's pawn stepping forward now. Will we see black capture in a moment on this square? This is, I think, called the Dilworth variation. Very, very tactical stuff. Magnus has barely spent any time. Liem's barely spent any time. I've seen both players have this position in rapid games on the tour. Right now, there was a sacrifice there by black, but black has given up 2 pieces. In return, he got a rook and 2 pawns. So if we do a count, black is actually 1 point up, but white's minor pieces are phenomenal. White's minor pieces are very strong, and I remember a game Magnus beat Hans Niemann on the tour earlier this season with the white side of this opening.
I also remember that game. I also remember Liem also playing this with the black pieces against Jordan Van Forest, and the two are still playing into the main line. This has all been seen before. Knight goes to the edge of the board, and the main line is actually for the queen to move 1 square across the diagonal to threaten to pin the queen and rook.
Yeah, I'm really surprised by this decision by Magnus. He's played into an opening he knows that Liem has studied in depth. Liem has played all of these moves almost instantly, and it's very theoretical. Black should be fine. Black's pawns in the middle of the board look great. But yeah, it's just so complicated, so hard to put a finger on in terms of what the plan should be. Often it's just move by move, and there it's just about pure speed. Maybe Magnus is playing on the clock, but yeah, I think objectively, maybe it would have been a safer decision to play something really kind of strange where he is simply stronger than Liem, especially with the extra minute.
And I can tell you that by Liem retreating that knight, he's gone into his own preparation. So no one had ever played that move before, and Liem, this is his home-cooked idea. And he moves his king to the edge of the board, getting out of the line of the light squared bishop. This is I think this is a good blitz approach. Oh.
Magnus, however, is starting to create some threats. So black's king is much safer. It did cost a valuable move, a valuable tempo, and white's queen, white's knight, white's bishops, they're all perfectly placed to attack those black pawns in the middle of the board. All white needs to do really is to start improving his knight at the bottom. The white knight next to his king is not doing anything. That's why the bishop steps back. The white knight is going to actually jump to the square that bishop previously occupied. So yeah, it's very tense. Does black touch any of those pawns in the center of the board? If you touch those black pawns, you might
too slow.
It's very, very slow, and Magnus is now going to start jumping forward, attacking a weak pawn, that black pawn on the a5 square that Liem is just kind of put there as a target. Magnus is going to try and grab it. And suddenly it's Liem. He's playing with fewer pieces, remember. A rook is not as good as a bishop and knight. So black has 2 rooks, white has 3 pieces to play with. It's slightly easier the more pieces you have in general, despite what the pawn count is. And Magnus, he's insisting, he's stubborn, he's going after that black a-pawn. And now 35-second time advantage. Yeah, maybe the clock will decide this game. On the board, it's still looking good for white, however. That moment when Magnus froze for 1.5 minutes, maybe he spent the time well, just choosing a safe variation.
Yeah, and Liem now under a minute, 49 seconds on the clock, and he's just struggling both on and off the board. Oh, tricky time. He has to speed up. I mean, regardless of what he has to do. Okay, so he gives up the a-pawn. Fine. Just keep on making those moves. Keep on putting pressure on Magnus.
Now this pawn will be captured, however. Magnus, I think, is just going to take it back with his own pawn. The one thing that white should not do is exchange a set of rooks now. If you take with white's rook, then you're only left with your minor pieces. Normally you want one of everything. Oh wow, he really does push his rook forward and capture. Normally you want to keep pieces on the board, and Liem now complicates the issue by throwing his pawn forward. Now his idea is to go for checkmate. He's going for the white king. I thought he would just exchange rooks. I thought maybe he would be okay there, but Magnus finds a nice counter-attacking move. Rather than retreat the white bishop, he's forcing off a trade of rooks. He has won 2 pawns in the process, so now it's okay to swap rooks. And now that those have left the board, Liem is left with a ruined position. He's down on material, he's down on the clock. 20 seconds is not enough.
It's not enough, no. And look at him, he just moves his king. And white has the dream position. The bishop and knight are coordinating beautifully, and he captures a pawn. I mean, more or less, Magnus can play anything, because with 19, 18 seconds left on the clock, there's nothing Liem can do.
Yeah, he just lost the speed at the wrong moment, Liem, and a couple of blunders happened where he lost pawns due to the situation on the clock. And Magnus, he's reasserted control. Everything's defended. Okay, he grabbed another pawn. It's just, it was like hungry hippos. Magnus grabbed one pawn, another pawn, another pawn, another pawn. All of black's pawns have disappeared, and Liem, rather than try and race on the clock, he has resigned. Magnus takes the win.
Dramatic match. It ends up with a win for Magnus Carlsen in Armageddon. He takes 2 points, winning in the blitz.